All right, so there are really three main areas where we need involvement. Yes, I just posted well, not really a link, but the Bazaar branch to get the code. So the three main areas for involvement are, first of all, going to be porting all of the old Unity 2D QML code over into Knox. The second area is going to be building lenses and scopes, specifically around media that people would want on their TV. It could be stuff local to the computer, local to the LAN, or on the internet. And that's going to be no different than writing scopes and lenses for the desktop. So all of the documentation that already exists for that you can use to start building compelling media sources for the TV. And then the third area is going to be actually working on new apps or porting apps that would work well on TV and getting them to where they're installable through the software center. And that's really three completely different skill sets. So depending on what you're comfortable with, what you can do, there will most likely be some way you can be involved in Ubuntu TV. So that's where the project stands right now. Any questions?
I'd like to point out that it might be nice if the Ubuntu TV project would be not limited to just new TV sets, because there's a lot of possibilities there. In particular, what I had in mind is, I'm sure you've seen the ZOTAB in the other sessions. The effort to port Linux to those as opposed to Android, most of the people working on that have as their dev board not a tablet but a set-top box. And at the moment, the big obstacle to putting Ubuntu TV or XBMC on that is the GPU drivers are quite available at the moment. But once that's done, then perhaps have an Ubuntu TV and an Ubuntu TV set-top box, because the platform is already there. So
from the software perspective,
yes.
It doesn't matter. That's just going to be up to the OEMs and what they want to put it on. For this,
well, not just OEMs, but the community as well.
Yeah,
a reference platform for development is
yes.
What you're after. So it's a set-top box. Even if it's not pretty, if it's got wires coming out of it, that's cool.
Right. So we had, at least originally for 2D, we had a reference hardware set-top box in Acer, I think.
Acer, Aspire, Revo, 3600.
Yeah. So is that a good?
It's a good starting point because it has an NVIDIA Ion chip that does hardware accelerated video playback, and it's all known hardware inside. So we could get Ubuntu on it very easily, and then put TV stuff on top.
So,
but really,
your
laptop or
yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a separate Unity. So this first area of involvement is taking things like the cover flow that you saw on the demo and building that into Unity itself. So it'll be available on desktops as well. So you could develop these things on the desktop using your desktop as the reference.
Yeah, that's good. It's nice to have a baseline expectation of performance.
And I think it's a long-term testing Jenkins that will be on real hardware. So people who commit to the project will be able to see that test run on real hardware so they can not false. So.
And I think as soon as we know what our first reference platform will be, we'll probably announce that and be able to get your own. Right?
So, are we expecting Intel or ARM or mix?
ARM.
Yeah, so reference, but ARM's got a totally different performance balance between GPU and CPU.
But again, I just want to emphasize that you can still run it on laptops, and I expect that a lot of people will want to run the TV interface on their laptop from time to time. And for lenses and scopes especially, you're gonna wanna have those on your desktop too, even if you're not running the TV configuration.
Is there a good documentation for like a one-page spoon-fed plan on how to get a VM or something like that that's the exact same software architecture for Ubuntu TV on a laptop or anywhere?
We've had,
Yeah, it's still there. If you go to the contributing link there in the chat room, you see that? That'll have that. So it doesn't specifically say do it in the VM, but you have Ubuntu in VirtualBox and you follow that guide, it'll effectively be there.
and then there's also documentation for developing EMUI itself that you can use also.
What are the aspirations of having devices control other devices? So I've got a tablet and I want to change the channels on the back TV up there.
Yeah, we had another session on that earlier this week, and it's a strong aspiration, definitely.
Is that network with Avahai?
I'm sorry?
That networks from Avahai as the,
Yeah,
right, so that's standard.
definitely. Yeah. So we're gonna have a network-facing public API for control, consumption of metadata, that type of thing. So, yeah, that's a first-class requirement.
What was that?
Control of the TV over a network.
Okay. Do we have any estimate on when we're gonna have that API? Okay. So that's not really-
I would assume next week and the following week, a lot of this will come again.
All right, what I would really like to make sure we have out of this session is what information do we need to provide for people to get started doing these 3 areas of involvement? Because we're really kind of starting from scratch again on this.
For those of us who are accustomed to Qt development, like a migration type of thing for Nux, I actually haven't heard of Nux, I just got here. So that's one roadblock for me.
I mean, they're entirely different. I don't know if you'll be able to write that.
Yeah,
Sorry, I came in late, but the how to get a build up and running in a test environment,
yes.
any plans for like a semi-stable-ish PPA where I can sort of half commit without building it from source every time? That would be
So that's a
useful.
question. Are we going, when we do this, when we start this recording, is it going to stay separate from the main Unity branch until we've gotten most of the way there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would make sense to put it in the main repository eventually, but
Yeah.
PPA until then. Yeah, PPA for a while, I just think
Yeah.
it's
I'd like to get it as soon as we can safely get it into
That's our development process, just we set up a feature branch, and we'll set up PPAs.
Okay,
That's standard for us.
okay.
So getting a lens that does cover flow is kind of an extension to the lenses API.
That's going to be a renderer, so that'll be really in the main, we've got the QML renderer. So the lens just gives information to the renderer, and then the renderer decides how to present that information in the dash.
So at the moment we've got 2 renderers, one for different icon shapes, one for text
Right.
under the icon, one text
Right.
beside the icon. It's another one of them, is it?
Yes.
Correct.
But as far as the lens itself, that's just going to be a matter of saying which one to use. So for that first area of involvement, someone's going to have to port the QML renderer to Unity 3D. And once that's there, then people can just specify in their lens that they want to use that one. So it's not going to require really a change to like the lens APIs or anything. You can we can take the video lens that we already have
Yeah.
and just change a parameter that says instead of using the list view, use the cover flow view.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and that's why it's important, we can have people working on lenses and scopes right now, and then as those new display features start getting ported, they'll automatically be able to take advantage of those.
Yeah, so anything like files and folders list could be covered by the.
Yeah, potentially it could be. Any other thoughts on what you would need to get started? Do we have any kind of, like resolution specs or minimum resolution requirements or maximum resolution requirements for app developers?
A lot of existing TVs seem to use the 1366 with.
But in live, the splice will always.
720,
Yeah, I've heard that 1080p doesn't always mean the same thing.
But we can really
Right,
determine
but a
that.
lot of them, if you at least use the VGA input, they'll just fix it in 1366 by, was it 1068, I think?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to target 1080p, and we'll have to deal with overscan.
1080p is pretty standard. It's just how the displays handle it.
Yeah.
It varies greatly.
Standard for my main TV, my bedroom TV, I'll go cheap and get a 720. So supporting both should be.
720p and the 1080p are the most common for
Yeah.
current displays, at least on HDMI.
AT&T supports what, 480i, 480p, 1080, 780, 720p, 1080i, 1080. Well, it is 480.
Well, I mean, if you're going to support community hardware, then 480i also makes sense. So 480i, 720p, 1080p.
I don't think we can make a good UI and have it be that scale.
Yeah, do we?
No, but I mean,
No.
that's, other
You
than
mean-
720p and 1080p, that's the only one that makes any
Right.
sense.
So these would be, make sure it runs well at these resolutions, and then at your leisure, support others.
Then that's just two of them, 720p, 1080p.
Okay.
Oh, you
What's
just
the
look
point
at
about overscan?
That still exists. There are plenty of rants about it on the internet. Go look them up.
So they have an LCD which goes,
An LCD which is 1080p native resolution, and yet you feed it a 1080p signal, and you still get it off the edge of the
So the
screen.
reason.
Well, you should be able to turn it on and off in Ubuntu TV.
They actually put the closed captioning lines on the top. So a lot of manufacturers, what they've done is they've covered up the line on the edge so that you don't get the white flashing.
But it's only analog closed captioning that works that way, the digital closed
I'm
captioning is
just
not.
not saying that it's right, I'm saying that's how a lot of people fuck it up, and that's why they're compensating, because people complain about it.
right, so you're going to lose a bit of the top panel.
Yeah, like in the analog days, they were referred to as the safe timing area.
It's all four sides, not just the top.
Yep. That's what I call the safe timing area. So you don't want to put content in outside of that area.
Right where we put everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could, the reality is, let's say you saw, 80% of an icon, you could tell what it is. So we would have to adapt for it at some level, but we don't need to be anal about it, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys broken all the tasks required of them to focus on launchpad?
Big one?
Have you broken all the tasks that are required to do this to focus on launchpad so they can be assigned and corrected? And I don't know if you guys are familiar with your own goals, where you have all those bugs and you make like a wiki page which has red, yellow, green, and red to yellow, red, green done. It makes it really easy to come and go, okay, I can do that task. No one's working with that.
Isn't that a blueprint effectively?
Yeah, but you can make it look a bit visually more accessible by putting it into one page as well.
You want to look like a burn down chart specifically for TV.
Yeah, we could probably do a burn down chart for TV. I think probably one of the biggest things in terms of that is, let's get the Ubuntu TV mailing list and IRC channel active so that everybody's talking to everybody else.
Yeah, so the issue that I'm worried about is not being overwhelming you. I mean, they go to the channel, there's 6 million things to be done, and I don't know how to get involved.
Right.
And it's just a list of, there's 50 tasks, and here's one way to do that.
Darcy has a question on IRC about a quick pick and play for Unity TV app, Ubuntu TV apps. DS transfer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, it's the same point made earlier both by TGM, whatever that number is, 483, and myself.
What was that?
About on community hardware and not just on Ubuntu TVs, including possibly a second one.
Yeah, I think that there's different ways to use it, right? You may not be able to get a tuner or, all the content on a community hardware, but you can definitely play files on your hardware.
Yeah.
Tuners, yeah.
Well, you can get a tuner. It's rather trivial nowadays.
Kind of.
What was the tuner you were using with the Revo, or were you using the tuner?
That wasn't part of the demo.
You targeting tuners?
Long term.
Should be. I mean,
George,
Ubuntu already supports them reasonably well.
George is like, tuners, that's so 2009.
So,
Oh, okay.
Tuners is when you
Oh, okay,
get
okay.
cable, satellite, or,
Okay.
so a tuner might be, as you say, a satellite box with an HDMI input.
no.
Or a cable box with FireWire output, or an HD home run with Ethernet output.
That'd be a good one, HD home run.
So
A lot of this is very region specific.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of that would go into, see, some of that we may need to extend the scopes APIs to be able to feed in a little extra information that's more specific to broadcast.
Yeah, it's got some action items up there.
So, all right, George, which ones do you want?
Test. I'll test the PPA.
watch.
All right.
I'll definitely be happy to test like the parsing and stuff to make sure that works with local files and stuff.
George will only use it if it's on a website. Yep. Do we need to set up, and I don't know who this action item should go to, a repository of test files that are freely available, that we can use?
So
Yeah, we already have that.
Oh, okay.
That's, you say we have that as an action item?
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Good, I think that'll help people think about the money again. But there's also some, it's like beep, beep, beep test signals type of stuff, right?
There's tons of stuff on archive.org too.
Exactly. But sometimes some of the stuff we may need to re-encode in particular formats we want to test, like you can re-encode this as 480i, or you can go to 480p, some weird format. Like for the cable guys, they use 240 by 320 a lot, and then upscale it over to set box.
So when we were doing testing video playback, we basically just downloaded a bunch of Apple trailers. And because they come in lots of different formats, the unfortunate thing is they've all got a watermarked Apple logo in the corner, which doesn't look nice for us.
They're also program streams, not transport streams, which is a problem.
Blended validation.
So,
Typically 94 computers.
So how are you selling content?
What was the question?
How are you, where's the Ubuntu Software Center, I want to buy that movie?
well, I think that's probably off topic.
Yeah, that's out of scope for
Session.
Okay.
Ubuntu Music Store probably could be renamed for that.
yeah. I mean, we sell magazines, we sell music. So it would just be a matter of finding a partner that we can sell their media content.
So there's stuff here, so the stuff that plays back and eventually records shows, does that all live inside Unity right now? Or
Say that again.
so the stuff that actually plays back the videos, and eventually somebody records stuff. Is that all living inside Unity right now, or is there?
I
a separate
believe
file?
for yeah, separate app.
It's separate.
And playback's gonna remain a separate app.
It's going to be called the media player or something like that, and it's going to be a separate process.
Okay.
Currently, for the demo, it's just towed full screen, so, but it's the same kind of model.
So there might be neat ways to drive contributions to that specifically as well. Some people might not be terribly interested in the shelf, but they may still be interested in the media player.
Absolutely.
Are we gonna define any kind of like target inputs? I know that we demoed with one specific remote, but are we gonna say that, you're gonna have a mouse pointer that you can move around, or is it all gonna be controlled by arrow buttons, or?
The primary target is an arrow button, yeah. There's going to be, maybe at the start, a couple of reference remotes.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you've got standard hit inputs, it should work. So that is a good point, though. I mean, when you're writing an app for this, you want to make sure that it's easily navigable by arrow keys, basically. Arrow keys and a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Do any of the remotes have something analogous to like the tab button? Because I know a lot of the dash navigation you can do with the tab.
I don't know. We're using the boxy remote for the reference here for the demo.
Okay.
I don't know if that's
Well, it's got the full keyboard on the
Right.
back, so you can use that as the regular.
Yeah, it's like,
The boxy keyboard, the regular remote side is very sparse, isn't it? It's got like 5
That's
buttons.
just
yeah, it's like up, down,
Apple's,
left,
yeah.
right, enter,
And then,
backspace.
and there's a play button, so.
Yeah, and then space bar. That's what they map to in Ubuntu. I haven't figured it out.
All right, over here. Down here at the bottom, I'm just adding things to work items. So if you see something here that you think you want to take on, just put your Launchpad ID next to it.
Hey, whoa. I said test the PPA of the room.
What?
I'm not gonna make a PPA. I don't even know how to do that. The first work item. Nice try, dude. Had me designing kernels and stuff. Is that what you want?
Well, you already do so much.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
At least I can count on you for stuff. I'll bet if we had Juju on the TV, he'd be all over it. Hey, that'd be cool. You can just let telecoms deploy a bunch of TV right to people's homes.
You associate NBC.
So, how much testing are you guys planning on doing on like I have an Acer Aspire 1 or whatever? So, because I could test, I have some hardware that I can help
Just
test.
random hardware, you mean?
What?
You mean just random hardware?
Yeah, just like,
Not much from
Is there any talk with Pete to get like some reference TV hardware in the QA lab?
No, I mean, I think the primary is just whatever hardware we pick right away.
Mhm.
Right.
That's
because we can say, we're testing on the Acer Aspire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
we can always say, who has one of these?
yeah.
They probably already have XBMC running on Ubuntu, they would just flip, mess around with it for a little while. Because we have that, I can test 5.1 sound, I can test BTS, I can test.
So once we decide our hardware, we'll get hardware for the Pete in the QA lab.
Yeah.
So then we'll have QA running on that.
And then we can get Nick to also talk about, if you've got this kind of hardware, you can help us by running manual tests.
Where Pete actually has plans for the QA process to allow you to have your own hardware at home. So we don't have to have a bunch of TVs in the QA lab.
Right.
You can
Yeah, I asked
contribute
Nick
to
about
QA.
that the other
Right,
day.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plans for that.
Good, okay. Well, when that's settled, that's when I'm really in.
Yeah.
George mentioned sound there. Do you want the menu to go bing, bing, bing as you navigate around it, or is there any sort of sound element that needs to be discussed? Or is it just the 5.1 of the movie and the whole thing's totally silent as it's movie stuff?
It needs to sound better than TiVo.
Yeah. Boop, 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 beep. Because
Over.
team, oh yes, exactly.
All day.
That's a good,
I do.
Alan, are there any accessibility considerations for TV interfaces that we can look at and learn about?
Descriptive audio.
So, this, yeah, that's right. So descriptive audio, closed captioning for deaf viewers.
Do we, did we
Descriptive
do
audio
anything
for
with
the
closed
deaf.
captioning in the prototype?
I'm sorry?
Did we do anything with closed captioning in the prototype, or is that just a feature that still needs to be added?
The demo?
Yeah.
No.
No, but if there was a subtitle file in the same folder as the movie, given we were using Totem, we would have found it.
Okay.
But that's all.
So, yeah, so there are subtitles on DVD and Blu-ray. You can pick the language of the subtitles, so you can be watching a film
Okay.
with English subtitles. or whatever.
We should also revisit the sound cue with the horn.
Could use speak dispatcher to speak subtitles.
Yeah, is that something that's gonna go through design?
Yeah. Well, it's part of the user experience,
Yeah.
not the UI, but the user experience.
Right.
The subtitles should be, the description should be set already.
The topic team.
So
Yeah.
it should be on the audio.
Yeah. To listen to it in language. That's cherry on top.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Accessibility issue.
The other platforms are for accessibility as far as browsing media is concerned. I don't think we have interesting places there.
It's an area where, yes, you can do interesting stuff, but some of the stuff that you do just makes no sense. Yeah, so that's the subtitles for deaf viewers really. That's the primary thing. Descriptive audio is nice for blind users to watch a film with a sighted user.
Did you guys had an on-screen, did you have an on-screen keyboard? Right, because you had the keyboard also. Did you look at any of the on-screen keyboard options?
I blind user. I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Someone's just watching.
It's hard to do, especially if we're gonna focus on arrow keys, not trackpad.
Also, we would need an example scope, a reference scope that demonstrates the features of Ubuntu TV. So other scope developers can take a look at it.
I don't think it's gonna be any different. What would we need to specifically highlight that's separate from desktop?
No, because Ubuntu, as far as I can understand, Ubuntu TV has different types of scopes in which we have program information and other UI elements.
Did we have other data? Did we use actual scopes for the demo, or was that just faked?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think we developed any scopes with them.
Any other ideas? Any thoughts of what app developers might need outside of screen resolution?
How can they app developers make things look consistent?
What?
So how can app developers make things look consistent? Like that cool little pay pause button in video there. How do we make sure?
You mean aside from using like our standard components and themes? There's the GTK.
Right.
Cute.
So would that be supporting toolkits for Ubuntu TV?
Yeah, and a lot of the like on-screen overlays are through Next, I think, right?
So I think our intention too is to publish a human interface guideline. So I don't know when that's coming. That's a goal.
Would that be just for TV, or would that be Unity-wide?
I think it would cover a broader scope, but TV would certainly like that.
How much are you going to let your media partner, your hardware partner, retheme it?
A little bit, but not much.
So there is a line in the sand that says, no, you can't take the Ubuntu logo off the top left.
Definitely.
And it's going to be a sort of color retheme.
Yeah, at least that's the goal. They might
Will be orange machine.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of going to be at their mercy a little bit. You know, we can't go and dictate our own terms to Sony.
Yeah. Okay, I was just trying to get a feel of where the 90% was.
I mean, if we get some partners on board and it becomes the hot new thing that everyone's got to have and we're super popular all around the world, then yeah, we can dictate a little bit more what they can and can't do. But for right now, I think it's more bend as much as we need to get a partner, but not bend more than we need to in terms of that.
I do have another suggestion for the application, for the app developers, to get them on board is, maybe it exists in this community link, but maybe providing 2 projects that you can download and load up in whatever the IDE of choice is. For example, a Hello World program, it's like a really less than 1 minute from download to already building. And then maybe a second project which ties into what was it you mentioned, the specific recommendations and UI human interface things that we shouldn't do on our own.
Yeah.
So something a little more complicated, more like a 15-minute type of project where it's just a template still, but there's more to it.
So something to kind of show the API a little bit, and then also something to show visually how to do what we're talking about. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Outside of the Hello World project is the most important because that's really giving people automatic success, kind of emotional value to their successful Ubuntu TV first developments.
Maybe we could generate another like quickly project where I only discovered quickly this week, so it's pretty cool. But just a Ubuntu TV quickly.
You might want to put that test card link into the notes from IRC. I don't know what it means, but
Yeah.
So now what's quickly exactly? I mean, that sounds like a QML editor, and we're not using
Yeah.
QML anymore.
Well, for apps, we're still going to target Geek as an app developer. But quickly, it has nothing to do with QML. It's just
Yeah.
it's for bootstrapping projects.
right away. I think
So
it
it
gives
gives
you
you
your whole build system.
Yeah, it gives you a set of files. It gives you all of your build files so that you can quickly create projects,
Oh,
quickly edit, and it pulls up all your files. Right now, for GTK apps, you can do quickly, I think, design, and it pulls up blades, so where you can just drag and drop components in your UI. And then at the end, you can do quickly package and quickly submit it off the software set. So yeah, a TV template for that would be good. All right, so I saw the wiki page for the test card, but I'm not entirely sure what we would do with that. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Test talks letters.
Poorly set up TVs. So then what does that do? Does that just let us tell them that they have poorly set up TVs? Or what?
I think it's good as a debugging tool. So if someone says, the icons look squished, you can say, you know, press this magic sequence and a test card appears.
Okay.
And then you can say, well, it looks stretched because you've got the TV set to like letterbox format when it should be set to 16:9 or something
Okay.
like that.
So that could just be like a full screen app or something
Yeah.
that they can pop up.
Exactly. It's just a useful debugging tool.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe something in the settings, control panel.
Yeah, show test card. And then you can fiddle around with the settings as Thomas says there.
Looks like it's good for setting up chroma and tint as well, so it's calibration.
Okay.
You can also have support for calibrating the TV with a colour home or something like that. Would be a nice thing to.
And the test card would help with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Colour hung
That's
What about trying to attach it to the screen?
That's easier than touching it to a laptop with a piece of string. It's just something that might be nice to test on a platform and have a user interface to get to it. If possible.
Okay.
You could, so the colour home UI could be reduced to a button that says go.
Mhm. All right, so we've got a bunch of work items. Who wants?
Scroll down.
All right.
Scroll this one.
Sorry. Here's our work items. See if we can change the color. Is that easier to see?
So I'll define the target screen resolution.
Okay. All right, so identifying key people in Canonical for different porting components. So I know we're going to have people from the TV team working on that. Can we, could you get a list, or should I just assign this to Will? I'm okay with assigning things to Will.
Yeah.
Is he,
Yeah, me too.
did he make it on?
I doubt it. It's probably some.
So who is the TV team? What's the reporting structure around it, as it
It's
were?
Will Cook
Yep.
is the manager, engineering manager.
Mhm.
I'm the software engineer on it. And there's Nihao Sadi, he's the tech lead. And we have Albert, who's another software engineer, and that's it.
And then there's other people
Python.
like us
Yeah.
who do like
Showering
packaging.
every so often.
Well, like do things like PPA packages, like
Support
QA.
So we'll work on getting a list of who inside Canonical is working on what, so that people who want to get involved know who to contact. Who would be qualified to write an overview about porting stuff from QQML to Unity 3D and Max?
Probably I'm thinking somebody like Jay
Jay?
or that
Neil.
team. Neil.
All right. Define input types. Can you do that with the when you do the screen resolutions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, talk to QA. I can do that. You said Pete's already got some plans for that, right?
Future plans, I don't know how to say that. But,
All right. All right. Alan just left. Does that mean I can assign him the review sound cues?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Someone can go get them, or you can see them at a later
No,
session.
no, this is what you get when you leave a session early. You get assigned work items.
Just assign all of the rest of them to Alan.
All right, review scope APIs for suitability in TV.
I can do that.
Okay. Good, because if I took that one down, I was just gonna go move forward anyway. Alright, create a quickly template for TV targeted apps.
I'll try that. Or unless you want to.
Let's do it together because
Okay.
kind of, I need, help with logistics, launchpad,
Sure.
beginning with all this.
What is your launch pad?
MSVB.
That's why I'm interested too.
Oh, great.
Alright, and a full screen test card. Who suggested test card?
That could be
DGM?
the first sample app with the template.
Yeah.
Because it's just displaying it full screen.
Easy. The image is already on Wikipedia.
TGM, do you want the test card work item? Take advantage of the delay and say that he says yes. Yeah, I'm gonna make those two separate ones, one for each of you, otherwise it messes up the burn down charts. All right.
Awesome.
Is your launchpad name the same as your IRC?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
the audio is always a little bit behind.
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. All right, so every work item has somebody assigned to it. That's nice. So do we have any time constraints to be aware of in terms of getting stuff out?
As soon as possible, I want that daily PVO when I get home.
That empty.
Yes.
Well, as soon as possible part was right.
Shouldn't just be a daily, there should be like a stable-ish one.
Yeah,
So-
have a daily for you guys.
So the idea is, for most of the projects, we're aiming to have bleeding edge daily, weekly.
Yeah, perfect. I want to play, but not too much. I break my XVMC all the time, and that affects my ability to stay married, so.
It would also be good,
Are you using the PVR branch?
No.
it would also be
So
good
it's not too bad then.
if we could churn out an ISO or USB stick for people who have a machine that's already got something like XVMC, they could just stick in and boot off that and try.
In fact, that's, for XVMC people, that's a major use case. They make a key, that, and it auto updates and, that way they don't have to totally commit. And then,
This is
I've got friends that's the only way they run XVMC. They're like, why install that? You just run the live self-updating magic key, they call it. That's
This
pretty
is
sweet.
what we did for some of the testing we did early on, was create a live USB stick so that people can just test it out on a Revo without having to install it. The downside with that is we can't distribute some of the stuff like the codecs that you might need to be able to play video. So you'd have to either install it and then install the codecs, or run from live CD and then install the codecs inside the live environment, which you lose.
No, but if you have the USB key and it installs it on the key.
If you make a persistent one, yeah.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the live thing should be, just a persistent stick. That way we can cheat as much for the user as we can.
What else?
Well, no, but the first prompt and after that, then the person doesn't have to deal with it.
So put an actually
Or the live USB?
live USB stick with like weekly release.
So, going back to the timetable, why don't we stay within a month?
Okay, I wasn't sure if there were any announcements or anything that were coming up where we say, hey, if you want to be part of this announcement or this milestone, if we're going to show it at another show sometime soon, if we can know about that ahead of time. we can
That's
start
what I was
thinking.
thinking of. A month should be good for all of that.
Okay,
Within the month.
all right. Did you guys have any time estimates on how long it would have taken you, just your team to port everything to Unity 3D? No.
That's too early.
Yeah. All right. All right. Before you guys leave, is everybody in the Ubuntu TV channel and on the Ubuntu TV mailing list.
Is it Ubuntu TV?
It's the group on Launchpad, yes.
For the channel,
Yes.
Ubuntu TV?
Yes, and on Freenode, yes.
And feel free to ask questions in the mailing list. It's probably the best way.
Yeah.
The room as well, if we're in
Can we make sure that everybody on our side is in the Ubuntu TV channel also?
They mostly are. In
Yeah.
fact,
We are.
everyone is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, some aren't in there 24/7.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm on,
Okay.
I know some.
If you go into the Ubuntu TV channel, all the links are in the top.
Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
All right. I'm excited for this.
There's 30 users in it right now.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody. And I will pound you over your work items.
I mean, use it all, so I think it's great. Have it already.
Nice vote.
Yeah, not bad for a phone, huh? Ubuntu One files for Android. I love that. It'll sync all of my pictures from my phone to my laptop.
Not videos though, which is a bummer.
Yeah, that's still a problem. Oh,
They're working on that.
Yeah.
is there gonna be, I guess somebody should probably make a, think about Ubuntu One on TV, the client and everything, make sure that that can be,
Yeah. We've been talking to Christian a lot. That's for the 1.1 release or later. Yeah, but we have grand plans for that.
so was the demo considered a release or not? Okay.
Demo is considered hardly even a prototype.
Okay.
It's a user experience prototype.
Gotcha.
That was good.
Yeah, it was.
The other session, I mean, it was good. Broader scope. We could have done another one.
Mhm.
Still being on topic.
Yeah, we stayed mostly on topic.
Yeah.
We didn't stray too much.
Yeah. Oh, so those,
What's that?
when you put the launchpad
I've heard nothing.
in square brackets, where does it show up?
So when we're going to copy all of those onto the blueprint itself. And then from there, if you go to status.ubuntu.com, it builds burn-down charts from the information on the blueprint.
Is that mandatory? No, I mean copied.
Oh, no, we'll have to manually copy it.
And where do you put it? Because I'll probably have to do that for the other two.
If your session has a blueprint, if you go to the meeting page on Summit, there's a link to the blueprint. And then you copy it into, is it the whiteboard? Or the- Yeah, so just copy everything that's on your work items,